Okay, so let's go. We have to do some catch up.
Had an interesting thing today. I forgot to bench Gomel this morning, my davening. And I remember afterwards, I did it by minute. Somebody says, "Wow, did you sleep through Parshas Zachar this morning?"
Very good. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, Parshas Zachar in Eretz Yisrael is a whole religion unto itself.
Oh yeah.
Peretz, are you talking to us because you're muted? I hear you. Okay. Anyways, let's go. We got to catch up. So, although tomorrow's daf is nice and short, so.
Jacob, what are we doing Monday and Tuesday?
That's up to you guys.
Okay.
I'm saying you guys have to decide. My parents was talking about making a thing by him Monday night.
Right.
Oh yeah, I have to send out the invite. I didn't send it. I'll do it.
All right, Paris, maybe he'll send it out Friday morning. Maybe.
Yeah, we have no idea what you guys are talking about. So
Right.
Parents wants to make a daf get together, put him by night with the daf.
how does that work for you?
He's gonna fly back and go back.
It would be like
Same time as now. Same time as now, around.
Yeah, I would figure.
We'll do it the same time after. Don could come over. We can have a couple of knives and cake and whatever, and we put it up on a projector.
There you go.
And then we can all go to Thank You Hashem.
The guy just texted me that somebody told him that since it's his birthday on Tainus Esther, he was told he doesn't have to fast.
You should hang out with the guy who's going on the date, and maybe he doesn't have to fast.
Right, it's very good. I forgot about that guy.
He could double date.
About that.
So what'd you tell him?
I said seriously with a question mark. Let me tell you, the piece last night after Shabbos, turning on the phone, not a text to be had. Oh, it was mamish gewaldig.
What about turning off your phone 8 hours before Shabbos? What about that?
Well, that was Shabbos. How about when you?
Wasn't holiday.
No, meaning it was like a regular Shabbos at a Shabbos stop.
By the way, I enjoyed that the most. Being there to show the entire day till 4 o'clock in the morning, my phone didn't ring. Not once, not an email, not a phone call, nothing. But then from 4 to 2 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't stop. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm still catching up even from after Shabbos. Now I've been answering texts since 35 minutes ago. But anyway,
Quiet Shabbos, no questions. So I don't know whatever else.
Okay. Anyways, ready? So doing as a preview. So the first Amud here is Mamash Biology / Earth Science Amud, about how does grass grow or how does hair grow based on how same meaning, same. Well, I'm saying it as grass, but really, how does hair grow? That's Amud Aleph. That's Simon. Is that your department really? But and that's the first part, and then the next couple blot after that, we basically get into if exactly what type of shaving can a Nazir not do? Shaving for Nazir, Mitzayra, Levi, can they do? And then it gets into stam hair removal for men on their beard. Doesn't mean a shaver. Doesn't mean a razor only. What about stam hair removal stuff? Yeah. Do you want to learn Refuah Shalema for Yeshaya Feivel Ben Resha? Okay, should have a Refuah Shalema. And Jesse's father-in-law too, which I forget the name. Okay, so anyway, so let's see the Mishnah. Yeah, Stam Nazirus Lamed Yom. That we know. We learned that many times. Stam Nazirus is 30 days. Gila Chayshugulchu list him. If he took a haircut, or really, Gilach really doesn't mean a haircut. Gilach means he was shaved. Aishal Guchu will list him, or list him shaved him. Saisa Lamed Yom and knocks off his Lamed Yom. Right? Now we already said before that it's not really Saiser Lamia, only Tuma is Saiser Islam, but not 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 haircuts. So what it is, it's not pshat that he has to start over again like Tuma. He doesn't have to start over again, but he does. He needs to have 30 days of growth before he shaves. Before he shaves, meaning the post Nazir shave, you have to have 30 days of growth.
When
So
he's
Mamela,
shaving, this is his head and his beard?
I wasn't.
Or just his head? Just the top of his head?
I don't know. I thought just the head.
Meaning just the hair
But
on
the
the
head
top of
is.
your head, not your beard.
That's what I thought, but I'm sorry to say, I'm embarrassed to say that I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see anybody discuss it yet, but it definitely
Okay.
means the payas.
So I'm saying the payas would be the demarcation line below that does not need to be
I
shaved,
don't know.
and above that needs to.
I think so, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if anybody knows an answer to that.
It hit me
Please
today.
let
I
me
was
know.
asked I was wondering that today.
Yeah, I was learning the sugyas last week.
The people I did
I
today's
initially
dop,
learned it.
the people I
Yeah.
did today's dop were saying the beard is your head is your face is on your head, is part of your head. So the
could be.
face is yes.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, I don't know. I'm gonna hopefully research a little bit more. It's one of those questions you're almost embarrassed to ask because they're like, why don't you know the answer to that one? Right. So Baruch Hashem, you're not embarrassed.
If I remember, I'm gonna ask Shmuel Grossman tomorrow morning.
I thought you were gonna say you're asking for a friend.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I don't have any friends. No one will
Good,
believe that.
ask him that.
No one will believe that. I'll ask him tomorrow morning.
Good, thank you. Anyways, so the difference between this and becoming tummy is that if he's tummy, he has to start again. Right? Here, if he took, let's say he got his head shaved on day 10 of his Nazirus, right? So he only has to wait. How does it go? How does the math go? Right, then he only has to extend it by another 10 days. Right, because now he has 30 days. If he was Tame, he has to start the whole thing again. And he needs 30 days from when he became, meaning a Nazir becomes Tame on day 10, he has to restart he has to be 30 days from then. If a Nazir shaves his head on day 10, he only has to wait another 10 days after, not another, right? Not another 14. In that case, though, day 10, he would be waiting 30 days, no? Oh, no, because he needs to wait another week. He needs to wait another week for the Tumah, right? So that's the difference. Okay. Nazir Shigila Bain Bezug Bain Batar. Oh, so if a Nazir, whether he shaved with a scissors or a razor, Aisha Sifsif, or he pulled out his hair, Kol Shahu, even if it's just the smallest amount, he's chayiv. Okay, so the Mishnah here clearly is saying that a Nazir doesn't make a difference how he removed his hair. Right? It could have been a razor, it could have been a scissors, or it could have been or he pulled out the hair. As long as he pulled out a little bit, he is going to be chayiv. Now we're going to see there's different things. There's chayiv, and then was that enough that he has to restart? That's a different share. Right? And then how much he has to shave when he's done is also a different share. Right? Meaning how much of his head does he have to shave? Now, another thing is that the Gemara obviously doesn't discuss is what about electric shavers? Right? That's called misparayim ke'ein tar. Right? That's scissors, but it's like a razor. Right? Meaning the Mishnah here says a scissors, and the Mishnah says a razor. So what's the difference between a razor and a scissors? A pashtus, the difference is a scissors needs two pieces of metal to cut it, right? If you take a scissors and run it against the hair, one side of the scissors and run it against the hair, seemingly will not cut the hair, right? It's talking about the scissors, it means like you need the double action. A razor is a straight metal that cuts the hair, right? That's the difference between the two. The shadow when you get into electric shavers, so now an electric shaver, how's it working? Is it working like a scissors or is it working like a razor? And that gets into the entire machlokes of whether you're allowed to use electric shavers or not, which will be tomorrow's daf. Either way, so that's what the Mishnah says. Another one has an interesting biology question. Hi Mazia, the hair that grows, milatachas Rabbi or milael, does it grow from the bottom or does it grow from the top? Right? Rabbi means to grow. Meaning, when you have hair, when you have this hair that grows out of my head, this hair that's right here now, is the top growing or is the bottom growing? I think most of us are going to think that it's not the smartest question in the world. We all think that it just grows straight from the bottom, which is going to be the Gemara's maskana, right? But the Gemara is asking, maybe the top of the hair is what grows out and the bottom stays the same. I don't know how flowers grow, Simon. I don't know if you're on, you're not on, but I try studying the flowers to see if it grows from the bottom or it grows from the top. Right? So, okay, but that, I don't know. I couldn't figure that. It looked to me like it grew from the bottom. But the question is, by hair, does it grow from the top or grow from the bottom? So, Lamai Nafkamina, what's the difference? The Nazir shall Gulchu listed. And let's say a Nazir who listed him, like the Mishnah says, listed him, went and shaved him. And they left enough hair for it to, enough hair growth that it grows and then it bends over. Right?
Was that a thing
Meaning-
back then that people robbed you when they cut your hair? Because now they go for
Yeah.
your money.
I guess if
Right?
he had nice long hair, maybe they did wigs back then too. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where are all the women getting this wig hair from?
I never asked. I don't know.
No, they only rob you when you buy the wig.
That's true. Maybe that's why they rob others. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I thought it was just an example. But anyways, so the hair grows enough that it falls over, right? That's what a lot of places can say is the shear for payas on the side of your head, meaning how short can you leave the hair on the side? So the place can say that it's when it's long enough that it would fold over a little bit. That's what some places can say. Other places can say when it's long enough that you can grab it, which could be almost the same measurement. Places can say it's a number 2 comb, however many millimeters that is. 2 millimeters, I think if it's a 2 comb, it's supposed to be 2 millimeters. Anyways, so they shaved this guy's head and they left enough hair for it to fold over. So if you say that the hair grows from the bottom, Nazir's hashakli, right? So then they took the Nazir's hair, right? Meaning, since when he made himself a Nazir, the hair was there, right? And the new hair grew from the bottom. So that new hair is not his Nazir hair, right? That wasn't the hair that he had when he was a Nazir. That was cut off. But if you say the hair grows from the top, right? What he made happen is still in existence, meaning whatever hair grew after he became a Nazir that's the same hair that was always there. Right? Meaning when they cut his hair, right? The new hair grew out of that hair. Meaning, let's say he had his hair was this long, right? Let's say my hair. If my hair is this long, I would decide to make myself into a Nazir. And then after 30 days, it grows, right? The new hair is what grew out of the top. Then they cut it. The hair that's left is my original Nazir hair. So then I should be fine. They didn't cut my Nazir hair, right? Meaning if it grows out of the bottom, so that new hair is not my Nazir hair. I mean, it is because it became part of Nazir, but my original Nazir hair is what they cut off because it grows from the bottom. But if it grows from the top, right? Meaning it grows out of the top of the hair, and they didn't get rid of the Nazir hair, and I should be good to go, right? So that's the shaila. So the Gemara tries to bring multiple rayas. You have it's very interesting. Gemara brings these rayas. Where do you bring it from? If you have nits, right? A live knit, a live knit, the kaim the benisa, it's in the bottom of the hair. It's at the bottom of the hair, meaning the root of the hair where it hits the head. Yeah, meaning now, how did that nit get there? It's at the bottom of the hair where the hair meets the head. And if you say that the hair grows from the bottom, if that nit came out of the base of the hair, then it should grow along with the hair, right? Meaning if the hair grows from the top, then that nit, when it's on the hair, should go along with the hair. So it shouldn't be at the base of the hair. It should be, meaning if this nit grew or was born at the person's base of his hair, so then it should be as the guy's hair grows, it should be at the end of his hair, not at the bottom of his hair. So, but it's at the bottom, so it must be, it's coming from, then it's I'm sorry, it must be it's coming from the top, not from the bottom, right? So am I saying that right? Right. No, if you say it's from the bottom, then it should grow with the hair. It shouldn't be at the base of the hair. So when it answers no, really it grows on the bottom. But because it has life, it keeps crawling down towards the base of the hair. I guess for whatever reason, nits want to be at the bottom of the hair, not at the top of the hair. So with the hair, yes, the hair keeps growing. So the nit should go along with the hair, but no, it likes growing. It likes crawling its way back to the head. Fine. Tashma in Vamesa, what about a dead lice, right? Or nit, however you call it. And you find it at the end of the hair. Right? So sometimes you'll find a dead lice at the end of the hair. So how did it get to the end of the hair? So if you say that the hair grows out of the top, it should be at the base of the hair since it's dead, right? Meaning if hair grows from the top and this dead bug is on the hair, and now the hair is growing, so then it should be at the base of the hair where the hair meets the head, because this thing is dead. It's not crawling anywhere, right? But yet you see it at the top of the hair. Must be that the top of the hair grew out, and that's why it's on the top of the hair. So when answers so since it doesn't have any life to it, less b'chela doesn't have any life. It can't. It goes along, meaning it falls. It's called gravity, right? Meaning it slides down the hair away from the body, right? So Mamela, it's moving not because the hair is moving. It's moving because of gravity. Gravity is pulling it away from the hair, right? Like you have a hair, I had a knit right here, and it's going down the hair because gravity is pulling down the hair. Okay, third raya. Tashmam bluris dekushim. You have a bluris dekushim. That's a bluris is a chup, as we call them in the yeshiva jargon. It's a chup, right? But what they did is they grew the hair long. It's debatable exactly how they did it. Seemingly they shaved the sides of the head and left the hair long, and they made it into they knotted it up. The boss of the megadollah rafim elatachas. After they megadol means after, they literally means when they grow it, but means when they tie it up in knots or like braid it, then it loosens milatachas from the bottom. Right? I don't know if anybody's familiar, Jesse. Maybe you can. I don't know if you should do how familiar you are with your girls' ponytails or whatever when they knot up the hair, but I'm sure you can get some comments on it. Meaning, where does it start unraveling? Does it start unraveling at the base of the hair first or at the bottom of the hair? So the Gemara is thinking, and it starts loosening at the bottom, right? Meaning at the bottom of the hair, meaning towards the body. So must be the reason is because there's new hair growing at the bottom. So the answer is no.
It does happen sometimes. One from the end, one from the one from the close, one from the far.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that's okay. So it's up in the air. Okay, but the Gemara is thinking that it comes from the base of the hair. And then the Gemara says Hasam Nami. I did the kamta, right? Since the kamtihi. since it's kamta, it's very tight, right? Mishiyichva, the rafia, when you lay down, it loosens up, right? That's what happens to their ponytails, I'm assuming, right? When they move around and they lay down on the bed, so then it tightens up, right? So that loosens up. So therefore, it's not a raya which way it grows, which I guess answers what you're saying, Jesse. That confirms what you're saying. Sometimes it loosens from one end, sometimes it loosens from the other end. Now, interestingly, on Shabbos, you're not allowed to braid hair because it's considered like building, right? You're also not supposed to unbraid the hair because it's like destroying. So basically, the way a girl who has ponytails on
sometimes
Shabbos,
they want the hair to be wet when they get out of the shower. They do the braid so that they can take the braid out later so it's wavy. So they're not destroying. They're doing that as creation.
oh, very good. So right, so they're allowed to braid it before Shabbos, put it in a ponytail, I guess that's what you do, and then you're allowed to undo the ponytail, and as you sleep or whatever, as you run around, it loosens up. That you're allowed to do. Right? You're not allowed to purposely untie it. You can just take out the ponytail holder, whatever you call it, and then let the hair loosen by itself. That's allowed. Right? But again, to make braids and to take them out, you're not supposed to do. Fine. So Toshima. So let's another one. Me skarta. So skarta means red, the red dye that they dyed the sheep with. Miskarta the rafi amra milatachas, meaning when they dyed the sheep, when they gave meiser. We had meiser a couple last week, right? So they would take the dye, or for any other reason that you put you brand an animal, and then when it loosens up, so you see that the red dye stays on the top of the hair of the animal, and the bottom you can see, let's say with sheep, with the wool, you can see it white or yellow. The Tanya, that's one raya. The Tanya Visu, Katsavi Sav the Kinhoin, when you have Sabia the Kinhoin, old men, the Kinhoin means Zakin, sometimes Dalit and Zion are interchangeable. So when old men dye their beards, Chavron, right? So I'm sorry, Chavron onto Amid Aleph, onto Amid Beis. Now Chavron, Ikfe Nimhoin, the white, the nima means the hair. Ikfi is the bottom of the hairs is white, right? We all know this. So you see somebody that dyes their hair, right? Then the base turns white because as it grows, so clearly it grows from the raya, from the sheep, and from the hair. The white grows from the bottom.
I'm going to say something stupid. The beard and the top of the head grow the same way. That's a guarantee.
Oh, that's a good. That's a good question. Why would you think that?
Yeah, they do. I know they do. But is that a given? If we're questioning this now, is that a given that because the beard grows one way, so the top of the head grows the same way? Is that a given?
Yeah. So how about saying you can extend the question to does a sheep's hair necessarily grow the same way as a human's hair? Right? Are we trying to bring rayas from that? But I guess it has to do. We're assuming that all hair growth is the same. That's what it seems, right? Fine. Okay, so that's. But I don't know. But either way, the Gemara is bringing the raya from the dyeing the hair. But that the hair is going now. Now, what is the pshat that the old man's dyeing his hair? Is he bringing a raya from Goyim? Because the Yid is not allowed to dye his hair, right? So this is the deraisa possibly.
Shidduchim heter, no?
Yeah, but it says an old man. It says an old man is dyeing his hair. That's the lashon of Gemara.
He's talking about Shlomi Liski's grandfather.
I don't know who that is.
He's Moroccan.
I know Shlomi Lusky. I don't know his grandfather.
His grandfather's on his 7th wife. I think also on his 5th and 4th at the same time still.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Should we add him to the Tillim list?
Well, we know his beard is great now.
So only thing I could think is we're bringing a raya from Goyim, which would then David take your kasha to another step. Can you bring a raya from Goyim? Who says a goy, right? That's the tshuva chasam sofer, right? That is not smoking is mutter because you can't bring rayas from the Goyim's bodies to the Yidden's bodies.
The hair grows
Right.
different on a Jew than on a guy.
I don't know. I mean, he says that some cigarettes can negatively affect the Goyim more than negatively affect the Yid. Right? That's what he says. Only other thing I think is Ramosha has a tshuva that if an older guy is looking to get a job and he's dyeing his beard not because he wants to look younger, but because they're not going to hire him unless he looks younger. Now Ramosha does say a caveat. He says it has to be that you could do the job as well as the younger guy. Right?
And it says in the art scroll here that it's to look that this old guy is doing it to look younger.
Also, so there has to be a guy. If he's saying that, there has to be a
He's
guy.
doing it to look younger.
Yeah. Okay. The only thing is, I'm thinking is that maybe this Ramosha, right? Ramosha says it's mutter for him to dye his hair for that reason. Okay, whatever it is. But Shmami, no. Hold on. I think maybe I'm waking up my kids. Let me just see if I'll move to a different room.
Thought they weren't
Am I waking
sleeping.
you up?
Thought they weren't sleeping.
You up the whole time? No, that's one. The older one is sleeping on the couch.
They're probably going to sleep now.
Should I continue or should I go in the other room? Now you're gonna take a melatonin? You haven't fallen asleep the whole night? Because you slept the whole day. All right. He says he's been up the whole time. Okay. Anyways, okay. Fine. Yeah, so that's the Gemara Shmami no. The Gemara says Shmami no, the hair grows from the base, it doesn't go from the top. And that's another shaila. You have women who dye their hair, right? Shaila is, can they go to a mikveh with the hair dye? Right? So a hair dye is not anything, so it's not really a chatzitza. But really they should redo their hair before the mikveh. Because otherwise they're really unhappy with it because it looks weird. Not weird, whatever. It could be worse not to put the dye on before mikvah. Right? They say that, I'm not going to dye before mikvah, it's a chatzitza. No, maybe you should dafka do it because the base of the hair that grew is white. And then makes the whole thing look not as good. So whatever. Ask your individual shiloh if that's never again. Fine. Then the Gemara says, "Hello, the Tanya." Nazir who was listed a Nazir, the Nazir had his head shaved, the share and there's enough hair left that the hair bends over to the base, meaning it's long enough that the hair folds over. Ain't a soiser. So there's enough hair left. He's not soiser. He does not have to wait another 30 days. He's hagadai to militachas rabbi. But if the hair grows from the bottom, listor it should, right? Meaning because they cut all the hair, meaning if it's growing from the bottom, so his original Nazir, even though he has hair left now, but that's new hair. His original hair when he made himself a Nazir a month ago was cut off. So what does it help to have a little bit of hair left, right? Again, he's saying that as long as there's enough hair left, when these robbers shave the guy's head, they leave enough hair that it will fold over. So we're saying that's enough growth. Yeah, but if that's his original, if that's new growth, then it wasn't there from his original Nazirus. So he should have to cut his hair again.
One second, it's 30 days. Maybe they're saying that the fact that it flips over, that means that what was there for 30 days is still there.
What do you mean? It grew and they cut it.
Correct, right. But if there's enough that it flips over, that means whatever was there. That means that what they cut was there before he started Nazirus, maybe. Am I making sense?
Who says?
I'm saying.
I'm saying what? Why? I'm saying that
because there's enough to flip over. You're saying there's enough to flip over,
right?
And Nazir we say is 30 days.
Correct. You're saying that's a 30-day growth to flip over. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
What are you, a barber? Yeah. You a barber?
No, I'm just just have a guy with hair.
I don't know. The Gemara is clearly not thinking that. The Gemara is clearly thinking that 30 days growth will be more than that. I don't know. That's otherwise you have a good kasha.
Right.
Anyways, so that's the Gemara's kasha, which is very interesting because meaning the Gemara is trying to prove against, right? Meaning what the Gemara just said, Shema Mina. So what are you asking? So it's not Shema Mina then. Okay, I don't know exactly. Anyways, the Gemara answer is going to Gluchu Achar Melois. What happened is they cut his hair after Melois means after his 30 days, meaning they didn't cut it during his 30 days. He had 30 days. And then they cut his hair. Umani Rabbi Eliezer, this is Rabbi Eliezer going way back to the beginning in the Sefta, the Amar, Kol Achar Melois Zayin Saisa. Right? Well, it's similar to the beginning in the Sefta. Meaning Rabbi Eliezer holds that even by Tumah, if once the guy kept his Nazir, his 30 days, it becomes Tumah, he only has to wait 7 days, which is the day for Tahara. So he's saying the similar thing here with the hair. Once he finished 30 days and his hair gets cut, Rabbi Eliezer holds he only has to wait 7 days. Right? So Mamela, that's enough. The hair that's left is enough for 7 days. I guess not like Naphtali. Right? That much hair is a 7-day growth. But a 30-day growth, Taka, if you went with the other sheet that says you need to have the hair grow for 30 days, then it wouldn't work and it would be a kasha. Right? But Rabbi Eliezer holds you only have to wait 7 days. My time is Rabbi Eliezer. Why does he say only 7? Again, Rabbi Eliezer holds that if the guy's hair was shaved, let's say the Nazir finished his Naziris yesterday, and he didn't have time to take a haircut, and then somebody came and shaved his head. So Yalif Tiglachas Tahara Mitiglachas Tuma. So because Rabbi Eliezer holds you only have to wait 7 days. And he learns it out. The cutting for a Tahar Nazir, which is after 30 days, means Tiglachas Tuma, from a Nazir who had to shave his head because he became tummy. Right? Mat, meaning when he becomes tummy in the middle of his Naziris, he has to shave his head also. Mat Tiglachas Tuma Shiva. There it's only 7 days, meaning because the 7 days of that he has to wait for the blood to be sprinkled, the para, the April para to sprinkled. After Tiglachas Tahara, Shiva. So too, the Tiglachas Tahara is only 7 days. Right? Right? Like we said, that 7 days is enough for hair to grow that it's going to fold over. Right? Which personally I do agree with Naphtali that that's a lot of growth for 7 days. Right? I think. Right? So they're saying no, that's a 7-day growth. It could have big ramifications for payas. Right? How short can you go on the sideburns? So if they're saying that enough hair in 1 week, a 1 week's growth is too long, is already long. So then that's long enough. So you have to experiment on your sideburns. If after a week, what's there, the Gemara is calling that substantial amount of hair, then that would be the length. That's the length that you could keep your sideburns. Right? Again, it's a different sugya. It's nothing to do with our sugya, but it's all based on the same thing. Right? Okay. Anyway, so maskonos of the Gemara for science purposes is that the hair grows out from the bottom, not the top. Fine. So now we start with the sugya of the shaving, of what type of shaving. So Nazir shegilach bein betar bein bezog hashasifsav kol shu chayev, whether it was with a razor or a scissors or it was pulled out, you're chayev. Tar. It says in the pasuk a razor. Right? A tar is a razor. Ainly ela tar. That only tells us if he did it with a razor. Meaning if a Nazir took his hair off with a razor, then he's chayev malchus. Talash, if he pulled it out, meirat, or if he picked it out, sifsaf, or he, again, these seem to be a little bit repetitive. Exactly what the difference is, I don't know, but he's basically pulling out his hair without using metal. So you would think, so meaning how do we know that he's over? It says that the hair of his head is going to grow and is going to become holy. Right? It doesn't say anything about a razor in that puzzle. It just says don't remove the hair that grew because it's holy. That's what Rabbi Yoshi holds, right? Now, we're going to see weiter that one is this is a mitzvah saseh, right? It says his hair should be holy. It doesn't say in this puzzle don't use a razor. That's the other puzzle, right? So meaning if a guy uses a razor, he could be over on a mitzvah saseh that he didn't let the hair grow, and he could be over that he's not to use a razor, right? But here, if to pull it out, he's not over on the razor part. He's only over on the pulling out. Right, meaning you have to know how these things work. A man pulls out a beard here, is he chayav for shaving? Right? No, he's not.
Stop during the year?
Yeah, it's not a guy shaving. A guy who wants to shave his beard. Nothing to do with Naziris. He wants to pull out all his hair. What just happened?
I think Parrot's is playing with something.
I'm using
yeah.
a different computer. I'm sorry. The kid stole my computer. I'm logging in on a different. I don't know what the heck is going on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, that was a cool view. A little different. For Purim. But anyway, if a man wants to pull out all his beard here, then he can. There's no isser, right? Because it says tar. It doesn't say anything that your man is contrary to what many believe. It doesn't say anywhere that you have to grow your beard. It just says don't remove it with a razor. And the whole shaila is what type of razor? Yeah, be Kabbalah, you're supposed to have a beard. But it doesn't say anywhere you have to have a beard. So therefore, you're allowed to pull out your beard. But the Nazir cannot, according to Rabbi Yoshia. Rabbi Yoshia tar, ainly, right? So I only know about a razor. Ainly alatar, I only know about a razor. Meira tola shifts of kol shehu potter. He disagrees. He says, "Enochanami, you're potter." He says, "See, but potter is an important lashon. Potter means that you're not chayiv. You still can't do it, right?" So, but it's a machlokes whether you'd be either on an isser or not. So the Gemara says, "V'aksiv kadosh yeh." What does Rabbi Yonasan do with the pasuk mitzvah saseh that says you have to be a kaddish, right? So you're being either on a mitzvah saseh, right? So that gets an interesting. If Gershon is not on, huh? Because Gershon for sure would be asking, meaning you're not. What are you chayav for not doing the mitzvah saseh? Right? Remember we had it way back. We had it a couple of months ago, right? That if you don't do a Hamlach HaMoshe Messina, we said that there's some sort of einish, right? So here it sounds like there is some sort of einish. Okay, but the Gemara is saying, how about Ksiv Kadosh Yeh, that the hair has to be holy? So Gemara says, "L'memer dim gilach lebetar kam aleba say v'leisa say." The Gemara says, yeah. What the Gemara is saying, which we just explained, is that if somebody shaves his hair, if the Nazir shaves his hair with a razor, then he's over on an essay and a leisa say.
Wait, can I ask you something? So a guy
Yeah.
you just said a guy pulls out a hair in his beard. There's no isser because there's no. But if a guy pulls out hair from his head, that is an isser.
Yes. Well, that's the machlokes Rabbi Yonasan and.
Saying stam a guy, not a Nazir.
Oh no, stam a guy. What's wrong with pulling hair out of your head?
No, I'm just saying a guy. There's nothing wrong with him pulling out hair from his head.
No, from his payas, yes. See, all these things.
No, so that's why I'm
just-
asking now.
Yeah. Payas, you can't. Payas, no. Meaning payas anywhere from on top of the ear.
So
like
if I pull
over
out a
here,
hair
this-
from that, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yes. Now the question is, how much hair do you have to pull out in order to be over? That's a whole different thing. But theoretically, if you pull out all your payas, so you'd be over. Yes, because you have to leave. You cannot circle out the whole head. You can't round out your head. Right. Yeah. So again, basically, he's saying that in order to be over on the mitzvahs, in order to be over on the asay and the lois asay, you have to use a razor to pull out the hair. Right? Meaning if you use a razor, according to Rabbi Yonasan, you're over on two things. You're over on using a razor, that's a lav, and not growing your hair. Right? if you pull out your hair, you're not over on the razor part. Obviously, you're just not doing the mitzvah to say. Right? But that's one way of looking at it. Tani tar tar. That only tells us a razor. Talash merit sifs of kol shu minayim. What about if you pull out hair, etc.? How do you know that that's going to be an iser? Tamalam lo yavar al roishay. See, now it's saying the end of the pasuk tar, and then that same pasuk lo yavar al roishay. When it says don't put the razor around your head, is talking about the other types of hair removal. Okay, so then if you're saying that lo yavar al roishay means do not remove the hair, so then tar lo yavar al roishay. So what do you need the razor for? Just say don't do any hair removal. Why should the Torah first say razor and then say lo yavar al roishay? Why do you need both for? My answer is because we don't know that that the final, meaning the end shaving that's going to be done when the person finishes Nazirus, that who says that should be Vitar? So why? Because meaning, how do you know that the Nazir, when he's done with his Nazirus, has to shave his head? Maybe just has to do hair removal, right? So Gemara says, well, we don't know, so that's why we need to write the pasuk that he's not allowed to do it with a razor during his Nazirus, which then tells you that after his Nazirus, he does it with a razor. Now, how come we don't know it? So Gemara says, "Lamda mitzayra," to learn it from mitzayra. So now mitzayra, after his taras, has to shave his whole body. That one's for sure, David, his whole body, right? So l'lamda mitzayra, you can't learn it now from mitzayra on to today's daf now. Shane don and kal mechomer lahachmer alav. You can't learn out a lighter din from a chomer din to be machmer, right? Meaning, why is it more kal and more chomer? Because a nazir only has to shave the head, and the mitzayra has to shave the whole body. So maybe when the mitzayra who shaves the whole body has to use a razor, right? But a nazir who doesn't have to shave his whole body, maybe he doesn't have to use a razor. Rabbi Yomer, ain't it tzarach? Right? You don't need the word tar for that. Haray Yomer, tar lo yavar al roishay ad malais. It says you should not use a razor on his head until he's done. Hatayra amra achar malais loite tiglachas elevatar. After the malais, after the days are full, meaning his 30 days is over, he should not have a tiglachas, only batar. Okay, so Rebbe says you don't need a pasuk for that. So v'aksiv tar lo yavar al roishay. So if that's the case, according to Rebbe, so why is it saying that you need a razor? Meaning we said, like, just say lo yavar al roishay, don't put anything over his head, and that will tell you no hair removal. What do you need a razor for? So Vishnei Lavin, he says, no, now Rebbe's adding another lav. So if you use a razor, according to Rebbe, you're over on 2 lavin. So you can be over on 2 lavin and an asay, right? 1, you used a razor. 2, you did hair removal, and 3, you didn't let the hair be holy and let it grow. The previous shita said that you're over on a mitzvah's asay and a lois asay, but only 1. Rebbe's adding another one to it. Some of Chista. Okay, so that's it. So that's the end of that. So there's a few shitas over. Bottom line is, according to everybody, this is the main thing to come out with this. According to everybody, a nazir is not allowed to do any form of hair removal, regardless of how it's removed. If you do it with a razor, you're either on an additional isser, and according to Rebbe, if you do it with a razor, you're actually over on 2 lavim, so you get 2 malchus and an mitzvah asay. Okay, now we go weiter. It's not confusing. It's amazing how the Torah seems to not keep a what's the word? A one shear for everything. Everything has to have different measurements. Like Lamashal for Mishlayach Manas and Matanas of Yain. Now Mishlayach Manas is 2 presents for 1 person. Matanas of Yainim is 1 present to 2 people each, right? It's why couldn't they just keep it the same? I don't know. I believe that to make it hard for us to learn, to make us work on it. So you got here, look at this. Summer of Chista. Lilkois.
And then you add wine and then you add wine to the mix and try to figure that out.
Correct. Well, maybe that's the Adelo Yoda. Yeah, so Amar Rav Chisda, Lilkois Ba'achas, to get Malchus, one hair. If the Nazir pulls out one hair, he's getting Malchus. Either pulls it out, well, not pulling out, it's going to be in the Machlaikas, meaning if he shaves one hair. La'akiv B'shtayim. Right? Meaning when he shaves after his Nazirus, if he leaves two hairs, then that's as if he didn't shave. If he leaves one hair, it's as if he did shave. Right? Meaning after his Nazirus is over. Listor, to have to, when to be Saisa, meaning to knock out his whole Nazirus in order to have to wait another 30 days for hair to grow, he has to have shaved the majority of his head, ubitar, and he needs to use a razor. Right? Meaning the razor goes on all three of these. According to Rav Chisda, it's only with a razor. So Gemara says, "Betar." Well, at least that's what I'm thinking now. Betar in the media only with a razor and nothing else. But Katani Minai L'Rabbis says Kolam Avir. And didn't we just say that all things, all hair removal is included? Ela ke'ein tar. Oh, so this gets into major sugis about shaving. Doesn't mean he didn't mean to shave. The Nazir has to shave his head with a razor, as long as it's ke'ein tar, it's similar to a tar. Then it's a problem, right? Meaning, let's say he used an electric shaver. Let's go with the practical difference here. The Nazir shaved his whole head or shaved one hair with an electric razor. Now, that since that's ke'ein tar, because a shave looks similar to a blade, so then Memela, this Gemara is clearly saying that a Nazir cannot use an electric shaver. Right? The question is, by the beard, what about the beard? Does the beard have the same restriction? Which again, we'll discuss that tomorrow, but here clearly the Gemara is saying ke'ein tar is a problem, right? Tanya Namayachi Nazir shetalash meirat sifsav kolshu, a Nazir who does any form of hair removal, he's only Seiser his Nazirus with if he does the majority of his head and with a razor. He disagrees. He says the same way that two hairs is ma'akiv, meaning when he shaves his head after his Nazirus, it needs to have two hairs. Meaning if he had, and that doesn't need to have two hairs. If he has two hairs, it's as if he didn't shave. So the same thing. As long as he knocks off two hairs, he has to restart his Nazirus. At least the Nazirus for the haircuts. Fine. So Tanan Hasam. So we have, again, just to review, we have Machlaikis. If the hair that the Nazir has to remove is going to be based on two hairs, or is it not? And each one has its own individual thing, meaning to get Malchus, there's one hair, to be ma'akiv him that he's not considered like if he shaved his whole body is two hairs, and to knock off his whole Nazirus would have to be majority. And Reb Shimon says it all goes based on two hairs. Fine. Three people, there are three shavings in the Torah, and those shavings are a mitzvah. One of them, this Gemara might come as a surprise to many. It came as a little bit surprise to me. So Nazir, Mitzayra, and Levium. A Nazir has to shave his head, right, when he's done. Mitzayra, as we know, he has to shave his whole body after the Tzaras is over. And Levium, the original Levium, needed to shave their entire bodies. The initial Levium in the Midbar, right, had to shave their entire bodies. The Kulan, but if they shave without a razor, or they left two hairs, they did nothing. So the Nazir did nothing. If he leaves two hairs, the Mitzvah did nothing, and the Levium wouldn't be able to be Levium if they left even two hairs of the body on, right? And meaning it had to do with a razor. Fine. Three things have to shave, and the shave is a mitzvah. Pshita. Right? If it's Pasha, that's what the Torah says. The Torah says a Nazir has to shave his head, a Mitzvah has to shave his body, and the initial Levium have to shave their body. So the Gemara says the same Seirhu. Right? Meaning the Torah just wanted him to remove the hair. Even if he smears it with nasha, with a hair remover, right, like a cream, which obviously wasn't a cream back then. I think lye did hair removal. I don't know what they did, but meaning maybe it was even with the hair removal kamash. No, it has to be an actual razor. Fine. So Katani, we learned the kulan shagilchu shaloi betar, right? Then all these cases, if they took the haircut without a razor, right? So what does that mean? Bishlam magabi nazir ksiv tar lo yavar rosh. So nazir, we understand you need a razor. It says you need to have a razor. I mean, it says don't use a razor on the head during the naziris. So mamela, when the naziris is over, then you do. Magabi levim ksiv evir tar al kol bisaram. They have to take a razor on all their skin. And how do we know that a mitzvah has to use a razor? And if you say learn it out from Levium, Levium, meaning this is how we're going to learn it, just like Levium, the initial Levium when they shaved, they needed a razor. So Afani AVS Mitzvah, I'll say Mitzvah also did Shutan Tiglachas, the Mitzvah also needs to be shaved and only needs a razor. So then equal mifrach malalim came to an tenufa begufam. This was the surprise part to me, right? The Levium need to be waved their entire body. Now, I don't know exactly who did this, right? But the initial Levium, after they shaved the body, Aaron HaKohen had to lift the Levi and wave them like a lulav and asrud, right? Yeah, I don't know why. It's a beferish pasuk. It's a beferish pasuk that he did this, but so I don't know. I guess I wasn't paying enough attention. But meaning we're saying you can't learn out the shaving from the Levium because the Levium had a chumrah because Aaron HaKohen had to lift up every Levi and wave him, right? That must have required some strength.
Wasn't it Moshe Rabbeinu that had to do it?
It said the pasuk says
Moshe had to do
Levium.
Moshe had to do Aaron and his kids. I think Aaron did the Levium after.
I never understood it that he had to actually lift them up and wave them. I don't know.
In this past week's parsha, Moshe lifted Aaron and his kids. I think he did it 7 days in a row.
Did he? I don't even remember.
The thing was 7 days. They had to wait.
Anyways, whatever. This is a pasuk about Midbar. It says clearly that Aaron did it. Yeah. But anyways, so that's a chumrah. Time of Mitzvah, the Mitzvah doesn't need it. Nobody's waving the Mitzvah. Okay, so you can't learn it out from Nazir. I'm sorry, you can't learn it out from Levium. Okay, Nazir, learn out from Nazir, just like in Malan Nazir, Shekain Karboniton Lechem. I'm sorry, learn it out from Nazir, and Nazir, because Nazir has to use a razor. So Mitzvah also has to use a razor. When it says Malan Nazir, Shekain Karboniton Lechem, Nazir has a chumrah because besides for the karbanos, right? We do the 3 karbanos that a Nazir has to bring. It also has to bring 10 loaves of bread. So there's a chumrah about that. Mitzvah doesn't have to bring. So there's a chumrah. So we can't learn out one from the other. Learn it out from both, which is called a what do you call it? Tzara shava, right? May Tasi. Which one are you going to learn it from? Tasi mi Levium. Learn out from Levium. Ma Levium shekain to tenufa begufan. Levium needed to be waved with their actual bodies. Nazir yachiach. So Nazir will prove it, right? Because that Nazir doesn't have to be waved, right? Mala Nazir shekain karboniton lechem, but Nazir you can't learn out from because it needs bread. Levium yachiach. So Levium prove it. Chazar adin lo yizek rizeh v'lo yizek rizeh. We're going to go around and around. Try and learn out from Nazir. Can't learn out from Nazir. Try and learn it out from Levium. Can't learn out from Levium. But between the two of them, right? Hatzara Shavashim, the equal, the what they call a common denominator, the Shein Tun and Tiglachas, they both need shaving with the Glach and Batar, and they're shaving with a razor. Tafani Avias and Mitzayra. I'll also bring Mitzayra, Shutan, Tiglachas with the Glach and Batar. It's that he also needs to be shaved in his shavings with a razor. Okay, so now we have a weight that we know that a Mitzayra needs to be shaved. When it says Amalei Rava, Mibarnish Luravashi, said Ravashi, why don't we ask a question on this? What about the Tzara Shava Shekain? Ein Korbanai Bedalas. The Tzara Shava, meaning Levium and Nazir, have a set Korbanos. Mitzayra has a kula, because Mitzayra, if you're poor, you just bring birds. You could bring sheep, but if you're poor, you could just bring birds. So time of Mitzayra should carbon badalas. A Mitzayra, its carbon is badalas. So therefore, you see there's a kula by Mitzayra. So even though you're gonna have a tzad hashava common denominator by Levium and by Nazir, but both of them still have a chumrah. I don't know if it's a chumrah or it's a kula, whether which is really going to be Gemara's next question. But they're different than a Mitzayra who has an adjustable carbon. Right? A Mitzayra can either bring animals, and if they're poor, you can bring birds. So maybe therefore it would not require a razor. So he says, Amar lei Rava bar Mishashi Rava, and then that's question number one. And then Rava bar Mishashi is Rava, hi Tana Meikara Amar. This Tana, again, originally we said that you can't learn out from Mitzayra because Mitzayra has a chumrah that he shaves the whole body, and Nazir only shaves the head. That was a chumrah. Now we're saying Mitzayra has a kula, right? Because it has adjustable carbonas. So which way do you want it? Actually, you can't learn out from Mitzayra. You can't learn something out light, which is Nazir, because he only shaves the head, from a chomer to be machmer. Then you want to go learn it out from a din, meaning from Nazir and Levium. So you're saying you can't learn it out either, because it's two mekel. So which way is it? Is the Nazir machmer or is the Nazir mekel? Right? The question is, where should we stop here? Because the rest, we already did a block and a half, but the rest of it is it's a long sugya here. Okay, but that's the kasha. So the Gemara says, Amalei hahu haliba d'Rabbanan. That's going according to Rabbanan, right? Meaning the brisa that says that a Mitzayra needs a razor is going. I mean, again, he was asking that we wanted to learn out Nazir from Mitzayra, that a Mitzayra requires a razor. We said you can't learn out Nazir from Mitzayra because Mitzayra has a chumrah that shaves the whole body. So there, he obviously held that we knew that a Nazir needs a razor. Then this Gemara here is saying that a Nazir doesn't need a razor. So which do we go with that a Nazir needs a razor or not? So he says, I'll leave it to Rabbanan. I'll leave it to Rabbi Eliezer. One is going to Rabbanan and one is going according to Rabbi Eliezer, who says that you don't. The Tanan, you're not chayiv. And this is where we get into the beard. You're not chayiv until you use a razor. Even if you take it off with the malaket and rehitni are tools that they use for, like, they're just pieces of metal, right? Okay, you know what? It's a whole no sugya. I know I wasn't sure where to stop here, so we'll stop here. We'll take it up because it gets into the whole shaving of the beard sugya. I'd like to spend a little bit of time tomorrow. If you look at tomorrow's Amud Beis, there are 6 lines, so we should be able to.
Yeah, I saw that.
Be able to.
I guess tomorrow we'll figure out from Monday and Tuesday. We'll make a plan of this.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Perfect.
All right.
Have
yourselves
a fine
good
day.
spell.
Have a good morning.
I would say good night, good morning, whatever you want.
I don't even know where I am. I slept an hour last night. I have no idea where, what. It's like sleep. I'm so totally out of whack. Yeah. I think combined I slept 10 hours since Tuesday. I don't know.
Sounds about right.
No, so it would be all good if I could actually concentrate on my learning, but I can't.
Tiago, I slept 10 hours this afternoon. I can't either, so we're in the same boat.
Eliezer Chaya Simcha got engaged. You there for that?
Oh, I was there last night. I went last night at 12 o'clock. Yeah, this place doesn't sleep, man. This Israel is like they're bouncing mamish off the walls. It's kids walking in the street by themselves.
My Chani says to me, Tiago, my Chani says to me, we're walking at 11 o'clock at night, and these little babies walking the street by themselves. What is going on over here?
I know, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
It's like that in Williamsburg also.
What?
Not the same.
Williamsburg also.
Not the same.
Not the same. Not the same.
Not like Eretz Yisrael, where you have 3-year-olds going across a neighborhood by themselves at 2 a.m. You don't have that in Not normal.
If they are, it's not a normal family, Avi, usually.
That's what I'm saying. It's not normally.
Right.